Hello everyone, I'm Krasi Attasio. I'm sidereal astrologer and this is my week for the 12 ascendants. You will find under this video the timestamps. Now this is just an overview and each one's horoscope is unique. So this is an overview, but I hope it will be useful for knowing what is happening on the sky the next week starting from Monday 26th of August. So let me just make an overview before starting my brief description sign per sign, ascendant per ascendant. Now what is happening is, interestingly, is that already on Monday it will be the last day of the Mercurian visibility and also the last day of his presence into Cancer. On Tuesday, 27th of August, he is going to enter Leo. And there, very interestingly, first of all, he's not going to be visible anymore. So his last day of visibility is going to be on Monday. So in Leo, he's joining the sun and becomes invisible. He hides in the rays of the sun. He joins the invisible Mars and the invisible Venus. So we're going to have 3 invisible planets all in Leo, in the fiery sign of Leo, together with the sun. And Mercury is entering, it becomes invisible in these very esoteric degrees where the Hydra is, the Alphard. They are esoteric, they are intuitive, they are about hidden knowledges. So people who have fiery sign on the ascendant, be it Leo, Aries or Sagittarius, who experience these fiery, esoteric, impulsive energies. Yes, we have this major trine activated between Mercury invisible, Sun, Mars, Venus, and Saturn retrograde in Sagittarius with Ketu and Pluto, and also Uranus retrograde in Aries. So we are having this major trine on the sky. Very fiery, very impulsive. This can be reason behind it will be reason behind emotions, like people will be very, very, very extremely emotional, extremely impulsive, to unpredictability. Therefore, I expect, well, we see already the fires happening all over the world in the Amazon forest. So unfortunate, but this is because of this trine. Not every trine is very good. We're having here trine where malefic planets are involved, and it is, luckily it's not a square between them, but still not every trine is very good. And I see this trine as reason behind possible hostilities, more fires, protests of people, yes, and emotional conditions which will be very, very impulsive and very unpredictable. Therefore, accidents of different characters. Therefore, use your intuition and be cautious during these periods, next week and the week after, because this trine with retrograde Saturn, retrograde Uranus, invisible Mars, very, very, very unpredictable. It's difficult to say and even to imagine what this can bring, especially when the moon comes there to activate it further. You can hear about many accidents, possibly even terrorist accidents, like all this hidden stuff that can come out. Mercury, invisible indeed, but when Mercury enters the sign of Leo, he's happy in Leo, and I will explain you why. Actually, you say he has no dignities there. Dignities there, that's true. He doesn't have any specific dignities in Leo. But for our era, because of the point of the vernal equinox, which is in the 5 degrees of Pisces, the ideal exaltation place, of course, always the classical exaltation place of Mercury is in Virgo. But because of the precession point, he has some dignities for our era also in Leo. So this will be working on the minds of people in a very stormy and fiery way. Also on the markets, I don't see this necessarily as a good thing. definitely not. It will create volatility, and it is all these hidden things, you know, the invisible planets, hidden measures, balloons, market balloons will also take place when you, especially those who are watching the markets will know what I mean. Now, this is the most important thing, this fiery trine which takes place on the sky. If you hear that this is a wonderful thing because it's a trine, I'm not sure that this is very, very wonderful. Still, luckily it's a trine, and luckily Jupiter is watching from a square to soften a little bit what is happening on the sky, and luckily Jupiter is already direct. So this was just my brief overview of what is happening right now on the sky and what will continue through the week and also the next week. Now let's look at the ascendant Aries. Of course, Aries, from the fiery trine, will experience this volatility of the emotions, of the markets, volatility of everything, impulsiveness, powerful emotion, like very intense emotions. Therefore, it's good to be intuitive and to be to try to balance your emotions when you have Aries ascendant. The week for traveling, be careful. For negotiations, be careful. The main reason behind being careful, advice of mine, is this impulsiveness and this emotional fire that is right now activated in the fiery trine on the sky. Also, in terms of love, also, you can be very emotional, it can be go a bit too far. So when you're negotiating, when you're traveling, be well prepared and be patient. In terms of children as well. Now watch, give attention and be yes, attentive towards your children. Otherwise, in terms of finances, also the week is not perfect, but it's not specifically bad as well. So be careful when negotiating, be careful when traveling, be patient with your partners, and be very, very intuitive and diplomatic. I would say this about Aries. I don't see specific health issues, just be very intuitive and be very cautious when taking decisions, because everything is too emotional, especially around the fiery signs. Now let's see what is happening with Taurus ascendant. With you also, your ascendant ruler invisible together with Mars, now with Mercury. Also, in terms of emotions, can be very emotional, can impact your private life, your relationship, also your work, your home. That is why you also need to count to 10 before saying something, to be careful, especially at work with superiors. The week is not perfect for your finances. It is more that you have to give attention to career and home, as what is happening at home can result in some emotions at your work and the other way around. The good thing for you is that Jupiter on your descendant became direct, and this is very good for your relationship, for your every kind of relationship in your life, like contractual relationships, people that you know. So in this sense, it is okay. You may travel, but new beginnings maybe not. Be especially diplomatic and careful at work. Financially, as I said, the week is normal, but not very, very good. Now let's see Gemini ascendant. Your ascendant ruler is moving into the third house of yours with the sun, with invisible Mars and Venus. Very spiritual, very interesting. Can create opportunities for contacts abroad, for commerce abroad, but still be careful that you still have the retrograde Saturn on your 7th house. So every contract that you want to sign, you need to double check, triple check, use your intuition, use advisors, because Saturn is quite of a limiting factor still on your descendant. But it's almost gone. You have like how many months until January? because before Saturn moves away. But your third house is activated. Interesting in terms of communication, spirituality. There will be the movement that, around you this week, also the next week. There things will happen. If your work is with people abroad, there will be a lot of movement. If your work is with media, sharing knowledge, internet, also there will be a lot of, or if you're a teacher, or there will be a lot happening around this, around communication, and for good. This is not bad, but finance-wise, the week is not perfect because the main significator of money is still invisible. Luckily, Jupiter is taking care for your health, and he takes care that your subordinates that don't create problems, that they are supportive. He also supports, as I said, your health. So this was about Gemini rising. Let's see now Cancer ascendant. Now with you, the whole stellium, all this concentration of energies of planets is happening on your second house. Of course, this will bring two things. One will be development related to your family roots, to family, to extended family. And also it will bring, of course, some money opportunities and movement there. Really, all this is happening around your second house. The week is fine for traveling. It is fine for communication, but be careful not to be too emotional or too impulsive. Money-wise, it is okay. It is still not perfect, but the financially the week is better than the week before. Just be careful for your health and be careful with subordinates. Don't trust people easily. In terms of luck, the week is better for you. Use your intuition. You may travel, you may communicate. New beginnings, not yet. Let's see Leo ascendant. It is very interesting what is happening on your ascendant. Big conjunction of 4 planets: invisible Mercury, the Sun, invisible Mars, Venus. It's emotional, impulsive. This can make you emotional and impulsive, can impact your private life relationship, but can be interesting, can bring some opportunities, personal opportunities, money opportunities as well. Just be very diplomatic and careful, not too impulsive. This is about this big stellium that is happening on your ascendant. Luckily, Jupiter became a direct on your 4th house. This will impact for good your career and your home. Saturn is still retro on your 5th house, and this would say still be attentive to your children. But financially, the week looks better than the previous one, but it's still not perfect, of course, because Venus is not visible yet. However, I expect better financial results for you this week. You may travel, but very carefully. Like don't travel when the moon is invisible, like now the moon will not be visible on the 30th and the 31st of August. Avoid these days for traveling. Because Mars is on your ascendant, so be cautious also not to get involved into any conflicts and risky situations. So this was about Leo ascendant, and we are seeing now Virgo ascendant. Now for you, your ascendant ruler is moving away from your 11th house, where he was associated with gains, with your hopes, with your friends, with media work. But now Mercury is entering your 12th house with the Sun, with the invisible Mars and Venus. Well, this is not bad, but it is also not perfect. This can make you a little bit secretive, a little bit desiring to have solitude, self-isolation, can make you very intuitive, very introvert. So I don't see this as a bad thing, but this week watch for your health a little bit, be responsible for your health, just stay away from risky situations of any kind, especially be alert in relation to hidden enemies, like don't trust people easily. Also career-wise can be a little bit challenging. There you also need to be very, very intuitive and careful. spiritually, on also in terms of communication and travel, the week is okay. But as I say, because of this stellium in the 12th house, be cautious and very intuitive. But you may travel and you may, yes, for spiritual work, for meditation, receiving results from studies and teaching, the week is very good. And be careful, a bit careful for your health. And as I say, watch, don't trust people easily during this and next week in particular. Now, Libra rising. We just finished Virgo rising. We're speaking now about Libra rising. Now, Libra ascendant, your ascendant ruler is on your 11th house, Venus, but invisible with Mercury, with the Sun, with Mars. This is interesting for your social life, can make it very emotional, very intensive, very rich, can be associated with some good financial results and gains, also because Jupiter is on your 2nd house. So it's a better financial week. Last week was not very, very good. In terms of travel and communication, still be a little bit careful. New beginnings, not, but the week is better financially and can give better social life and gains. And yes, so in this sense, the week looks better to me. You can travel, you can negotiate, but new beginnings, not. All right, let's see now Scorpio ascendant. Luckily for you, Scorpio ascendant, Jupiter is already direct on your ascendant, and you're having this complex stellium of invisible Mercury, Sun, invisible Mars, invisible Venus happening on your career place. And there will be exactly the movement in at your work, career-wise. You can have a lot happening there, and not necessarily very, very positive, can be a little bit complicated. Therefore, you have to be diplomatic and patient. Career-wise, this is it. Depending on your chart, how this is going to, what this is going to bring, but I see this as a little bit too intense, too emotional, too impulsive, too many things can be happening around your 10th house, career-wise. Financially, the week is not perfect, but is better than the week before. So be patient, not impulsive, be very diplomatic, be careful, and don't trust easily people, and be diplomatic when communicating with superiors. In terms of your private life, the week is also better. Romantic life, private life is better. Be careful when negotiating and be careful when traveling. Careful would say, just use your intuition. Saturn is on your 2nd house, so in terms of sharing speech, Jupiter is supporting you already being direct on your ascendant, but still up until January 2020 is always good to watch for what you're saying. Yes, especially because of this activated fire trine now that I spoke about in my brief introduction. In any case, financially, this is a better week than the week before. But how exactly this will influence you indeed depends on the personal charts of each one of us. Now, this was about Scorpio. Let's see Sagittarius ascendant. You're also part of this very active fire trine on the sky between invisible Mercury, Sun, Mars invisible, Venus invisible, which are trine in your ascendant. This is good. This can be interesting in terms of communication abroad, making money with people abroad, traveling, some opportunities this can bring, but can also make you a bit impulsive and patient. A little bit can bring a bit too much. Saturn on your ascendant is still restricting you, so I will not say many different things from what I said last week. Just be responsible for your health, patient with your beloved ones, very diplomatic at work, because Saturn on your ascendant can be influencing you on many levels. But the good thing is now that Jupiter is already directed, he's ruling your ascendant, so it's a better week than before. Just don't be very impulsive, listen to your intuition, and just have a little bit of patience until Saturn moves away from your ascendant in January 2020. But the key this week is that a lot is going to happen if you're studying or if you're doing things abroad. So there will be like the emphasized, there will be the energy, there will be the emphasis. So the week can be interesting exactly for this, traveling or communication with people abroad. And let's see now, Capricorn Ascendant. For you, Mercury is not anymore on your 7th house, he's now on your 8th house. All these planets concentrated on your 8th house, Mercury, Sun, invisible, Mars and Venus, are very interesting, secretive. They can influence your intuition, your sleep. Jupiter, luckily, is already direct and is making harmonious aspect to your ascendant. This is very good, better for your finances than before, better for your social environment, friends, hopes, gains, but still, you may still desire, be a little bit melancholic, desire self-isolation. Now, it is important that you still, I would repeat the same, be very much connected with the nature and with Saturn, who is Lord of your ascendant, so that you have good time when your ascendant ruler is in the 12th house. Yes, it's a very esoteric, very interesting week. Be responsible for your health, but in any case, I see this is a better week for you. Not specifically wonderful for travel and communication, but it's also not forbidden to do so. So this was about Capricorn. Let's see now, Aquarius Ascendant. Now with you, the direct Jupiter became direct on your 10th house, which is good for supporting your career opportunities. Ascendant ruler Saturn is still retrograde on the 11th, can desire that you're very disciplined and well organized when it comes to making money, gains, being with friends, your social circle. He can make so that you reevaluate who really your friends are. This complex stellium of planets, Mercury invisible, Sun, Mars, and Venus, are joining all your 7th house, and this can make your relationship, private life, romantic life a little bit complicated, a little bit complex, a little bit too impulsive, too emotional. But when you know this, you can have this well organized. But it can be a little bit too emotional, and too intensive and too impulsive. But if you know this, as I'm saying, you will know how to handle this. Yeah, be patient, be loving, be intuitive, be diplomatic with the people at home. Career-wise, things are getting better already. So in terms of travel and communication, you can do, but be careful, because Mars invisible is also making opposition to your ascendant. So avoid to travel on a days like 30th and 31st of August, when the moon is going to be invisible, or even 29th. For the rest, be attentive to your children also this week. Okay, now let's see, this was about Aquarius rising. Now let's see Pisces rising. Also for you, luckily your ascendant ruler is now direct and is trining your ascendant. This is brilliant. It will bring better times personally, and also in general for career-wise, even though Saturn is still retrograde on your career place. The biggest energy meetings, if you want, of planets, they're meeting on your 6th house, associated with your routine life, with subordinates. So Mercury invisible, the Sun, Mars invisible, Venus are on your 6th house. This would say, be responsible for your health first. Secondly, this can create a bit too intense environment of subordinates and people which share your routine life. With them, you need to be careful, because there can be too emotional, even hostile. So your everyday routine environment is where you need to be a little bit careful. But for the rest, financial-wise, the week is a little bit better because of the trine of Mercury, and this can create specifically opportunities. Not the trine of Mercury, trine of the direct already Jupiter, and this can be better for communication abroad, for your gains, and for even for travel. However, careful with your health and with the people that are your subordinates. All right, so this was my description of the week and of the 12 ascendants. If you like to study astrology with me, see this on my website. If you have questions and if you like to comment, you're very welcome. Thank you for your attention.